It's the most wonderful time of the year. What time is that? Well, for me, it's fall season, Halloween, autumn, spooky season, cupping season. That is the most wonderful time for myself. Now, I know for others it's Christmas, it's summer vacation, and spring has sprung, but personally for myself, I love Halloween. I love fall. I love autumn. I love when the leaves change colors. I love starting to wear sweaters, wearing plaid, wearing brown lipstick, you know. So yes, it is my season, and I'm not even born in this month, but I feel like I should have been born in October. So we are getting into a fall autumn fragrance today. Welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany James. I was born in a cold ass month called January. So, you know, fall and winter is just kind of like my season, if that makes sense. I love the foods of those seasons. I love the clothing that we wear during those seasons. I like just the festive energy and the festivities around Halloween and Christmas time because I am a winter baby. So this fragrance is fall, winter, and early spring. For the chilly, cold nights, for those chilly, cold months, this is a fragrance that is perfect for fall, autumn season, perfect for winter, perfect for Christmas season, and early spring when it is still chilly and still cold. It is described as a fruity, amber, woody, sweet fragrance. It is a modern fragrance. C by Giorgio Armani, the C line, the C collection, is fairly new, it's fairly recent. And when I did my research online, they described C Intense as a modern, fruity, woody, amber scent. So it is sweet. This is the unboxing. I have never smelled this before. The reason why I thought I would experiment and try this out was basically fall and autumn season. I was looking for a fall autumn fragrance, something that wasn't too dark, something that wasn't too heavy, because I have certain dark heavy scents and I wanted to try something lighter, something to wear with a sweater and a scarf like during the fall winter months, something that is not too in your face and dark and mysterious. Now this is described as being a little bit woody, so I will see how deep and dark it gets. I don't think it's going to get too dark, and that's not what I'm going for, so I am hoping it's not going to be too dark. I do want it to be sweet and gourmand like how it was described. When people described this, they said it was similar to La Nuit Trésor by Lancôme, and I have bought La Nuit Trésor for my mother for Christmas, and I love the smell, the fragrance La Nuit Trésor, and the Trésor line in general. However, I don't like La Nuit Trésor on my own skin. Just something about it on me, on my body chemistry, I don't really find that it works out the best for me. I'm not too sure how it's gonna be because when I open this, I kind of smell that Trésor a little bit. So I am kind of like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me, but at the end of the day, I did like the smell and the fragrance of La Nuit Trésor. It's just, for me personally, it didn't smell nice on me. I like berry, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to try this, because this has blackcurrant as the top note. Blackcurrant, so I like berry scents. I like if I'm going for gourmand, I like something that's berry, whether it's cherry, blackcurrant, whether it is raspberry. I like berry scents. And scents that have a little bit of rose in it, scents that have some vanilla or chocolate or cacao to it. I like scents like that. Cassis is nice as well. I like cassis and perfumes. Now, while some people will find this fragrance bottle to be a little bit minimalist, a little bit simple, you know, to me, the quality when I feel it in my hand is quite good. It's quite sturdy. And the glass is strong. It's heavy, it's thick. The rim around the edges, nicely done. So it's sleek and a classic modern bottle design, and going along with the theme of how it was described as a modern fragrance for a modern woman. The perfume bottle design itself matches that whole description. The gold rim at the top here, I mean, yes, this might be plastic, let me see. Yeah. So the cap thing here looks plastic, but it's sturdy. It's not flimsy at all. I don't know what material it is. It looks like plastic. So it's quite sturdy and sleek looking. At the end of the day, you know, yes, the bottle is nice, especially if you're displaying it on a vanity, if you are taking photos for Instagram, or just you're a blogger, or you're someone that likes to review fragrances, so you need a nice photo. But at the end of the day, what really matters is also the scent and the fragrance itself. The scent and the fragrance is very important, just as much as the bottle design. For some people, you know, it's more about the appearance, it's more about how it looks, but we're gonna see how the notes are. We're gonna see how this perfume performs, how long it's going to last throughout the day, throughout the nights and evenings. We're going to look at the projection, we're gonna look at the sillage, we're gonna look at what season it is most appropriate for. Like I said, people describe this as a more fall winter scent, but I'm gonna spray it and see if maybe it can work out for the summertime. I'm not sure. It's just like, even when you look at the color of this is very much like an amber kind of color. That's how it looks. It's like an amber color, so the color in itself just reminds me of autumn, you know, those kind of dark orangey leaf colors when the leaves on the trees turn like this kind of color, orange or brownish yellow and stuff like that, reddish yellow. So it's a nice amber color. Without even spraying this, I do smell that new Trace Oil. Okay? And I haven't even sprayed it yet. This is the unboxing, and this is my first time. Giorgio Armani, you know, you need to make sure you're gonna get the correct, proper perfume. Don't be looking for any cheap stuff. Get the real thing, pay the full price, and make sure it has the logo there, the Giorgio Armani logo like this on the fragrance and all that. Giorgio Armani fragrances are a little bit more of luxury smelling. They're a little bit more high end. There's no kind of like teeny bopper feel with this. Just already smelling it, I don't really get any kind of teeny bopper feel. I don't get any kind of celebrity tacky perfume feel with this. This definitely feels elegant. It feels like a classy, a little bit luxuriousness. It smells a little bit like a luxury high-end perfume. So it's not going to come off as tacky. It's not going to come off as tacky. And I get that vibe already. So the Eau de Parfum, Sea Intense. I have smelled the original Sea. That one to me reminds me of like fruity champagne. It is a little bit more lightweight than this. Alright. Wow. There we go. It has that Giorgio Armani signature essence in it. It has that kind of, just like when I was spraying Acqua di Gioia by Giorgio Armani, this kind of has that Giorgio Armani DNA in it, because I definitely get that Giorgio Armani vibe, that kind of bougie vibe. It's pretty bougie. This is something that you need to wear to like a wedding. This is something you can wear to like, not just dinner at a restaurant, but dinner at like a 5-star restaurant, dinner at a Michelin star restaurant, dinner at a rooftop kind of restaurant or rooftop bar or something, you know, something that's more bougie. And it has that Giorgio Armani bougie DNA, because Giorgio Armani does not go wrong ever when it comes to fragrances. I have never smelled a bad Giorgio Armani fragrance ever. He's never disappointed me. I don't know, like there's some fragrances that I might not go for by Giorgio Armani, but I don't hate it. And the ingredients are tastefully done. It smells like, it might even come across as niche to some people, but it really depends, because some people might say, oh, this is more generic smelling, but to me, like, it could be a little bit niche. It could be a little bit niche. This C Intense, I believe, came out in 2021, so it's newer. It's not the black version. The black version is older. This one is the newer one. It came out in 2021, and the person behind it is Julie. I don't know her last name. And yeah, so it is a new fragrance, and even though it's described as modern, you can still wear this with vintage clothing, because when I was talking about like fall season, autumn, this is a perfect fall, winter, autumn season that you can wear with nice sweaters, nice scarves, nice lace and chiffon material. You can pair this with like plaid, a nice plaid shirt, a nice plaid skirt, a turtleneck, you know, like the turtleneck, a white turtleneck, and a nice red plaid skirt or brown plaid skirt. So this is definitely great for fall season. So far, it's just feeling very bougie with a hint of autumn. So it's like autumn bougie. It's like, I don't know. I'm in the autumn mood right now. When I smell it, I just feel like the smell. I feel like the pumpkin spice around me. I feel like I feel like that fall energy. And even though I think I could see myself wearing this during Christmas time, because it's a nice gourmand and it's good for cold weather, I still see this as a strong fall autumn scent, more than a Christmas scent. More than a Christmas scent, yeah. It's definitely more fall, more autumn. It's lovely, it's beautiful, and I like how it's drying down right now. Oh my goodness. Wow. Very good. So the top note in C is blackcurrant, like I said earlier. The middle notes are Turkish rose and davina, and the base notes are benzoin and patchouli. So the notes are very simple and straightforward, nothing too complicated, nothing too complex with C Intense. But blended together, they make a beautiful fragrance. And sometimes simple is better. Sometimes not too many things in one bottle is a good thing. It's a good thing, yeah. I get a classy, elegant vibe from this. It is definitely for like nice events. It's for going out. This is described as a perfume for modern women, or kind of marketed towards modern women, and even though they say it is for the modern woman, you know, young women and stuff like that, it does have a little bit of a mature edge to it. So I wouldn't really recommend this fragrance for teenagers or people in their early 20s, maybe for people in their late 20s and 30s. People in their 40s, because it has a mature, sophisticated edge. The performance on this after just one spray is quite intense, in my opinion. It's quite strong. I didn't expect it to be that strong, but then again, it says intense. So I have smelled the original C, which to me smelled like fruity and smelled like a little bit sparkly champagne, and it was strong as well, in my opinion. But this definitely has a bit of punch to it, has a bit of edge to it. And it smells kind of sweet and gourmand. I don't know why they say there's a bit of woodsiness to it, because I do get like a slight woodsiness, but it's very sweet, in my opinion. It's a little bit more sweet than woody. It's not deep and dark, which I like, because then It's nice for the daytime. It's nice for the days and evenings, so it's not too deep, dark, and mysterious. You definitely get the black currant, but it's not that strong. You know, I know they say, oh, it's a top note, black currant is a top note, but to me, it didn't really smell that strong. I mean, it's in there and it's strong, but it could have been stronger in my opinion. The middle notes, Turkish rose and davna. Let's see. The rose is very subtle. It might just be the type of rose it is. It's subtle in my opinion. I smell the davna, the greens. Now the base notes, patchouli and benzoin. That's what gives it a kind of like amber feel and woody feel. The benzoin gives it like the amber feel. Amber, like an amber fragrance. And then the patchouli, it's very subtle. It's not too heavy. It's very subtle, and that's a good thing because sometimes a lot of patchouli can be a bit much for some people. But it all together is a nicely blended fragrance. Let me spray some of it again. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. It has a mature feel, definitely. This is not a teeny bopper fragrance at all. This is definitely for a woman. Just like it was characterized as for a modern woman. It's definitely for a woman who knows she's a woman. You know, it's not about pleasing the crowd. It's not about being Miss Popular. It's not about being trying to fit into school or anything. It's definitely for a woman, like someone who knows who she is, someone who is confident in herself. It's for women that embrace their feminine energy, that are okay with their femininity, because this is sweet. This is for women that don't really look outside of themselves for approval too much. This smells like something that's very down to earth and comfortable. So for someone that is more on the down to earth side, I'd say, more just chill, easygoing. It's not like flashy. It's not a flashy fragrance. It's more comforting. I get a really nice comforting vibe, like, you know, wearing cashmere, wearing something soft and fluffy, you know, as we do in fall and winter season. It's beautiful, it's lovely. Maybe for some people it might be generic, but it's definitely for a woman who embraces her womanhood, who isn't going to be following the crowd, following the teeny bopper crowd. You know, it's not like a tacky celebrity fragrance. This is just very much high-end fragrance, very much sophisticated, elegant, very elegant, feminine. It's feminine because it's sweet, the fruity black currants of it and the rose, you know, it's very feminine and has a confident edge, comfortable and confident. I get a comfortable and confident vibe from this, cozy vibe. Kind of like a Taurus, you know, Taurus people like nice quality materials and clothing, and they like the candles, they like nice soft rugs, they like to fix their house up nicely, decorate their house and all that. They like bubble baths, you know, that kind of stuff. They like nice food, eating nice food, seasonal food, you know, that's popular during certain seasons. So yeah, I really get a nice, elegant vibe to this. Definitely for modern women, definitely more of an adult scent, more of a grown folk scent. You know, it's not about trying to fit in with your peers. This is not about trying to fit in with your peers, trying to be liked by everyone, Miss Congeniality. No. This is much someone who's very comfortable in their own skin. You know, even like this is something that you can just wear day to day, going to the grocery, you know, not wearing any makeup. It smells like someone who's very comfortable comfortable within their own skin, someone that really doesn't care too much about being Miss Congeniality, Miss Popular. It's more comforting, it's more secure with who you are as an adult. That's kind of the vibe it gives off. That's why I believe that's why they say it's for a modern woman. You know, it's a modern woman scent when they describe this. It reminds me of like thinking of what you think about yourself rather than what society thinks of you or what society thinks of modern women. So it kind of has that vibe of how do you feel about yourself? What do you think about yourself outside of society? Are you secure and comfortable with yourself? Because this is a vibe it gives off. I'm secure and confident and accept who I am. I take comfort in knowing that I accept myself fully, as opposed to what society thinks, what my peers think. You know, it's not about being a people pleaser. This scent is not about being a people pleaser. It's very much down to earth and comforting and comfortable. With this, I also get the vibe of quality over quantity. Yes, quality over quantity. So, as with Giorgio Armani is always about the quality, like I stated before earlier. I haven't ever smelled anything tacky from Giorgio Armani. So quality over quantity. Yes, this is simple. Yes, this is, some people might think, oh, it might be a little bit basic. There's not a lot of ingredients, this, that, the other. But this is quite strong in terms of projection and sillage. Like I can still really smell it around me. And it's very, very strong. I don't even need to spray it again. I don't have to spray it again. It is intense. I'm also curious to know how this is going to wash off in the shower. I'm curious to know if it will leave a little scent trail, like even still on the skin, even if you shower, because I feel like it might. I know for sure this is going to cling to clothing, as a lot of gourmands and amber fragrances tend to do. You know, on your scarf, on your sweater, they might cling to the clothing a little bit. So I have a feeling this is going to cling to some turtlenecks or some like scarves and stuff like that, some jackets and sweaters. It's just going to cling to clothing. It has that feel to it already. But yeah, this is definitely about embracing your femininity, you know, feeling comfortable with who you are as an individual, not really caring too much about what society or friends think. It's not Miss Congeniality, it's not Miss Showtime, Miss in the Spotlight. It's just like chill, down to earth. Let's go for a walk in the park, in the forest, you know, let's look at the fall leaves, let's make some pumpkin pie. It's very comforting. When some people describe this as like it's good for business and all that, I can see it's good for business and whatnot, but I still get a kind of comforting edge to it, a kind of more soft side to it, because sometimes, you know, a lot of people like to wear more unisex scents for business and for the office and workplace environments. And this is a good one for a workplace environment, but it just is a little bit more sweet and feminine to me, and it doesn't have a kind of like driver edge like a boss. To me, this doesn't really smell like, oh, a boss lady or anything like that. This one smells a little bit more like the secretary. It smells a little bit more soft and demure, if that makes sense. Demure, it smells a little bit more innocent. You know, it's not really like I don't get a driver energy from it. I don't really get a boss energy from it. So when I saw reviews and heard people saying it has the boss vibe to it, I don't really get a boss vibe to this because it's so sweet. And to me, a boss vibe would be like Killian Black Phantom, like something a little bit more heavy, something a little bit more unisex and strong, a little bit more on the masculine side, or the unisex side would be a little bit more of a boss energy to me. This is just feminine, in my opinion, because I know everyone has their own preference and their own taste and ways of describing things. Describing perfume is like describing art or discussing your art your art preference, because what works for someone is not going to work for the next person, right? So it's very subjective, as they say. When you're judging art, when you're judging a sculpture, mixed media, cloth art, fabric art, it's very subjective. It really depends on the individual. So it's good to try this out in person. Get the tester and try it out in store in person before purchasing it. Don't just go off of what other people are saying about it. When I first opened it, I thought it was gonna smell like La Nuit Trésor when I sprayed it, but no. This is fine. It doesn't smell like La Nuit Trésor at all. Just when you smell it, like from the bottle, it kind of reminds me of La Nuit Trésor. This to me smells a little bit more reserved, and I actually like that about it. I like that it's a little bit more reserved. It smells a little bit more reserved, like a little bit more introverted, and I actually like that. Because I'm not really the most extroverted person myself, so I do like that it's more of an introverted vibe, because I do feel like sometimes I do feel more of like an introverted person. Does it live up to its name? See, intense. Does it live up to the intense? Yeah, I feel the intensity with this, because it's still clinging to my skin. It is still very strong and potent. You don't need to spray too much of it. And I feel like it's gonna stay on your bed sheets. I feel like it's gonna stay on my clothing. Like even if you wash the clothing and all that, it might still linger on the clothing. A Chypre perfume. They describe this as a fruity floral online. And you know, with that rose and the greens and in this fragrance, to me the floral edge is not very pronounced, if that makes sense. Like the rose, the greens in it, you know, and the patchouli, it's not, I don't get a strong floral vibe, and I'm happy and thankful for that, because I'm not much of a floral fragrance person. So I like that it is not very much about the flowers and fresh smelling, like green smelling. I like that it's not too floral, because I'm not much of a floral person. They describe this as like modern, empowered, feminine, and free. They describe this as, you know, just the it fragrance for a modern woman. The way that they describe it, the marketing, you know, or the words that they use, to me, is just someone who's comfortable with themselves in their own skin. To me, it doesn't scream bold and very like in your face confident. It's like you're confident, like you don't have to tell people you just are, or you just accept who you are. Like it's not, like I said, it's not very extroverted. It's not very, it's not the social butterfly kind of scent. It's introverted to me. It smells a little bit more introverted and reserved. So I don't really feel a like empowered, confident, boss lady vibe to this. No. I don't feel that at all. It's just, it's very chill and down to earth and fall. It has a sophisticated edge to it, yes. A luxurious edge to it, yes. But it's not just like, oh, I'm bold, I'm boss lady, you know, let's get stuff done, let's be productive. No. I don't get that with this. I just get a very chill, calm feeling with this, relaxing, actually, a relaxing feeling. The pumpkin and the candle just kind of matches this perfume, because this is more about being relaxed and chill. Yes, you're confident and you're an empowered modern woman, but you don't have to like, you're not going to just be coming out and saying it. You just feel it. It's a feeling. It's not like you need to make a bold statement about it, because you just feel it. You know it. It's not, you know, it's not like a PR kind of thing where you have to go out there and announce to the world, I feel like a confident, bold, strong businesswoman. You know, no. It's just, you feel calm and secure with yourself, whether, you know, you're wearing a nice sweater, no makeup on, just going to the grocery, wearing this, going to the park, just wearing something casual. and you spray a little bit of this, just the tiniest bit, and it just kind of lifts your spirits up. It just brings you into that lovely fall mood, and also I find this very calming and relaxing. So this is something that is nice to spray in the evenings after work, to spray after you shower, and if you want to relax in the evening time, you spray this, or spray it on your bed sheets. It's very nice and relaxing, calming, and soothing, and I really, really like that about this fragrance. I had the assumption that this would be good for people in their 20s, but after having sprayed it and letting it dry down, I feel like this is definitely more for people in their late 20s and early 30s. Since it's like a little bit of an amber scent, this does actually, in my opinion, go well with vintage clothing. Ambers were very popular back in the day, like in my grandmother's time, and ambers can definitely go well or pair well with vintage clothing. More kind of chic vintage clothing, more kind of lacy clothing, like old school lace designs, old school dresses. I like this. I think it's gonna pair well with both modern and vintage clothing. I wouldn't wear this with like a gothic or grunge look because it's not dark enough for me. It's not woody enough for me. It's not woody enough. It doesn't, I would never describe this as a unisex scent. This is definitely very feminine. Definitely very feminine. That's why when I was kind of confused when people were saying this is like good for like a boss lady and stuff, something like that. Like to me this is more secretary than boss lady, and I just don't really get a boss lady vibe from this, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I love it. It's just I don't get a boss lady vibe from it. I get like school teacher vibe. I get school teacher vibe from this. I get the mom next door. I get the lady with beautiful cats, 2 beautiful cats in her house, like a Taurus woman. I get a Taurus woman because this is luxurious and it's all about fall and candles, and you know how Taurus people really like to decorate and keep their space in nice condition, have nice beautiful rugs and materials, and they're an earth sign, and I noticed that about them, how they like nice food, they like nice ambiance, they like quality over quantity. I find with Taurus people, you know, as an earth sign, and this to me reminds me of a Taurus woman, a feminine Taurus woman who, you know, she might be a little bit stubborn, she might be stuck in her ways, set in her ways, but she's a lovely person at the end of the day, and she is confident in herself. She doesn't really care too much about being Miss Popular, pleasing the crowd, or being in the limelight. This is not like, I want to be in the limelight, I want to be in the spotlight. This is very chill, down to earth. You know, I want to have comfort around me. I don't want people knowing who I'm dating. I don't want people in my business. I don't want people knowing about my romantic life. It smells like someone who's more reserved. Someone who doesn't really like the spotlight and the limelight, you know, doesn't want to go to every single concert happening, doesn't want to, like, they'll go out to a nice restaurant, they'll go out to weddings and certain events, but they're just a little bit more sophisticated. They're not really about the party. This is not party girl. No. C is not a party girl. C is an elegant girl. She's a classy girl. She's a feminine girl. She is, you know, I like money, I like nice things, but I'm not gonna be Marilyn Monroe up in here. This also could be like a little bit like Audrey Hepburn, but without the spotlight, without the Hollywood. It's like Audrey Hepburn. It's very like classic and elegant, a little bit minimalist. You know how Audrey Hepburn was very elegant and sophisticated? This reminds me of Audrey Hepburn, but without the Hollywood, you know, craziness and all that. Who else does it remind me of? I can't really name a famous person because this doesn't like scream fame and popularity to me. This kind of screams just someone that's very chill and down to earth. So I can't describe a famous person. I can describe one of my family members, like extended family members. I can describe like a school teacher, like a school teacher that's nice and encouraging, a little bit soft. She could be a little bit more strict and assertive in her role as a school teacher with the kids and all that. You know, she has a soft side, maybe like a soft, demure side to her. She could be a little bit more assertive, but you know, this to me just smells very comforting and sweet and beautiful. The sillage with this is quite strong. I would probably give the sillage like an 8 out of 10 and all that. When someone leaves a room with this, you can definitely still notice it. It will definitely linger because I find this intense. How niche smelling is this? Does this have any sort of niche edge to it? Like Joe Malone or something, you know, or Killian. Does this have like a niche edge? Not really, in my opinion. I mean, for some people it could be a little bit niche perfume. I would say it's slightly niche, not too niche, and slightly niche. This reminds me of soft sweaters. It reminds me of champagne. It reminds me of blackcurrant jam, blackcurrant desserts. It reminds me of like caramel a little bit with that dry down because of the benzoin. Yeah, that benzoin. Yeah, it gives that kind of like, and the patchouli, a little bit of a caramel. I don't know. I get a little bit of the caramel dry down with it. It smells like a deep vanilla, fruity deep vanilla. It reminds me of fall season, spooky season, autumn, Halloween, cuffing season, winter also, winter. And the drying and the decaying of the leaves, the colors changing on the leaves, the weather turning more dark and gloomy, things getting darker, things getting colder, things retreating inward, being a little bit more reserved and introverted. It definitely has like some warmth edge to it. So when you smell it, I think, you know, because they describe it as amber, because of the benzoin and the damna and the rose, it has a little bit of a warmth edge, like warm, like by the fireplace during the winter months edge, you know? And even in the dry down, it still smells luxury, like luxury to me. Kind of like the other Giorgio Armani fragrances. They're always very classy, elegant, sophisticated, and luxurious. They're luxurious. So in my opinion, C would make a great fragrance for millennials and maybe some Gen Xers. Gen Z, it really depends. I think for the older Gen Z, would probably appreciate this perfume or might go for this perfume. And the Gen Zs and millennials that like vintage, that are more into like celebrating seasons and the festivities of each season, people that like festive stuff, I feel like this is a great perfume for earth signs. You know, like I describe this as down to earth. This would make a great fragrance for earth signs. So Taurus people, I find, like to keep up with seasonal festivities. They like to keep up with Halloween, you know, fall season. If it's not Halloween, they'll be into like just fall season in general, like the food, the seasonal foods that people eat during the time, the drinks. They will be into maybe decorating their house, having a certain color scheme, you know, with the curtains and with the tablecloths and all that. So yeah, this is definitely, I think a great fragrance for millennials. I also wanted to mention that C does get more woody later on, because I left this on now for maybe an hour or 2 hours or so now, and I came back around to film and see if anything had changed, because this is my first time, you know, reviewing and spraying this and smelling it. So, because this is an unboxing review, you know, it's not, I haven't smelled this before, only the original C, which is a lighter color than this. So now that it's dried down, it is woody. The blackcurrant is definitely not as potent. On this hand, I definitely smell the patchouli. On this hand, strong, very strong with the dry down, or stronger with the dry down. Because when I sprayed this at first, I wasn't really smelling a lot of patchouli, but now I smell it. It's definitely a base note. Yeah, the rose has definitely kind of faded, and the davna, I mean, it's kind of there, but now it's definitely more woodsy with the benzoin and the patchouli. It's lovely, and I like that it's not as sweet anymore. I feel like later on the sweetness is going to disappear less and less, and I'm happy about that, because when you first spray it, it's quite sweet, quite syrupy, gourmand and sweet and syrupy. So if you kind of can picture a nice caramel, fruity, sticky tart or sticky kind of dessert, that's kind of what it reminds me of, with a hint of champagne for some reason. With a hint of like amber and with a hint of champagne. Is it sexy? Is it seductive? Maybe in a vanilla way, like it's more like a vanilla sexy. It is not vampy, it is not really like dark and mysterious. It's more kind of like the girl next door, you know, just kind of a little bit more vanilla, maybe a little bit more submissive, maybe a little bit more, it's like, it's a little bit playful, but it's more elegant and classy. So maybe in a sexy way, it's elegant and classy in a sexy way, but not very seductive, not very vampy, not extremely sexy, but just the right amount, just the right amount. When it comes to vampy, more seductive scents, you know, try not to get something too gourmand and sweet. Maybe look into getting something more unisex, something with cacao and chocolate, something with a dark rose instead of a light rose, because this rose in here is a little bit on the lighter side. It's not a dark rose, it's a lighter rose. So I like this more for the daytime and evenings and cold nights. But you can definitely wear this day to day, day in and day out. And you don't even need that much of it, because it's quite luxurious and potent and strong. And I can see this being a signature scent, especially when it comes to the colder months, or someone who lives in a cold country, because, you know, not everyone lives in a cold climate or cold area, cold country. So for the people that do, like maybe people that live in the Netherlands, people that live in, maybe people that live in like Holland and Norway, Denmark, you know, or maybe people that live in the mountains somewhere might enjoy this fragrance, because it's great for like colder weather, in my opinion. I think that this will do well, like when you go out in the cold, it will perform well in the cold. I have a feeling that in the summertime, this might be a little bit too cloying and sweet and a little bit too like sticky. When that heat and the humidity, especially the humidity, like with a fragrance like this, I don't know how it's going to perform with humidity and the heat. It might be a little bit sticky, but with the dry down of the wood, maybe it can survive in the heat. It's just, I do find it suited more to winter and fall season. I love to smell this all day, every day. It is very beautiful, very, very beautiful. It's very relaxing as well. It reminds me of like something to do with aromatherapy. I know there's certain aromatherapy perfumes like for linen and bed sheets, and this kind of complements that cozy vibe, that aromatherapy fall/autumn vibe. that spooky season vibe, cuffing season vibe. You know, with the candles, the pumpkins, the nice soft plush fabrics and scarves. When you spray this, you would like fall asleep to the scent. It's kind of like aromatherapy for me. It's just like so relaxing, and it's a little bit powdery with the dry down now, woodsy and slightly powdery, and I really like that. I like when things have a nice powdery edge, just so we're clear. I don't get any synthetic notes or edge at all with this. Giorgio Armani never really has anything synthetic smelling, because I find the ingredients and the way that they create their perfumes are quite high-end and top-notch. Giorgio Armani did not disappoint, honey. He did not disappoint today, and he never really does. I mean, most of the Giorgio Armani perfumes are fabulous. I never have any issues with Giorgio Armani perfumes. I always enjoy them. So that is it for See Intense by Giorgio Armani. Do check out my other perfume reviews on this channel. I will see you in the next one.